an incredible rotate. Like the rotates at the moment, fantastic from Weibo. Their late game, on the other hand, there's something left to be desired there.
It's discoordinated, a bit broken, it seems, on that front. And they could have been on the points tally where Regnum Kaya is, with a good game, with a good transition at the end of that. They absolutely could have been up in third place. But for now, not so lucky. They're now 16 points behind. East Side Circle, over towards the mansion area, the north of prison, will be a lot of open ground there. You've got that Lumberyard Hilltop as well to the south, the Asfields out to the west. Currently, no one is in Lipovka. Virtus.pro, they're trying to change that by the looks of things, but they might actually divert and play more out in the open field, since it looks like they are maybe not fully looted here, actually. No, Voston doesn't even have a vest or a helmet, so they will need to stop off and grab some loot. Wouldn't be too surprised to see them ending up in Lipovka.
I mean, Virtus.pro is the case of they just went from an okay position, like sort of split off around on that north side, and since then they have just been rotating, as have a lot of other teams. Regnum Kai is going to make that pass from Rozak over towards the eastern side. Much easier rotate for them now, considering OG isn't in the lobby, playing around just towards their south, and Arcred doesn't rotate quite as quick as OG here. So I think for Regnum Kai, they definitely afforded a lot more space in group red to play around with here on Erangel. You're right. VP immediately over towards Lipovka with 2 players, playing that split over towards the north side as well. So getting a lot of loot on board. Many other teams who dropped far over towards the west, they've not even considered moving early. There's no real reason to. It wasn't like they were going to get a central position anyway, so they're happier just to play the edge.
And it might work out. We'll have to wait and see. Arcred, ooh, 4 players in a vehicle. In minute 5, you got to be joking. Surely there's been another vehicle that you could have taken. By this point, it's a bit criminal, especially on this sort of... There's a buggy right there. Come on. Surely you've got it. Okay, fine. Right, okay. I'm slightly less... They could have put... Okay, it's the backseat. Fine. It's still 3 in a vehicle. What have they been doing this whole time if they only have 1 vehicle up to this point?
Rotating?
I'm mad.
So,
I'm big mad about it.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, garage is free. So to pick themselves up a nice shiny car. Which one of these players, potentially in this group, might be able to pick up for themselves? Sweet little Porsche towards the end of things.
There we go. All right. My nerves have been calmed. They have split into several different vehicles rather than all sitting the same one. The fact that Twisted Minds were so close to them as well, all in the same vehicle, must have been absolutely terrifying, right? Like, you spot that and you think, oh no, we're going to be absolutely ripped to shreds here. But they do manage to split out. They find that extra buggy. They get to the garage, so it's okay. It's okay. I'm chilling a little bit more. Well, they've been rotating up on that north side. DRX, ooh, it's a little camouflaged hay bale there in the way. Need to regain some speed. Pop that stim so you don't stay below that max HP. And another little bobble on the ground, catches them unawares. Having a terrible time out in the fields there.
Yeah, it's not a... Which sits them on the eastern side of the circle, where they should know there's plenty more space to rotate around in.
I mean, they have got a couple of teams close to the center, but it is difficult to move in a little bit further south at the moment. You do need that scouting on board, although you expect them to be aware of their surroundings. The Regnum Kaya split right now between Heaven and further down towards south on the compound that oversees the dips to the west. Or one of the compounds, rather. We'll see if that's going to be favorable. If they can hold that split. I mean, holding Heaven as a split, I feel like is very, very bold. And we'll see if they're able to do so, because it goes kind of dead center onto that Rectum Kaya split. Keeps Twisted Minds in it as well. A difficult compound to hold, to get out of. A little bit easier to hold. I'm just waiting for this regroup for Rectum Kaya, because I feel like the teams in the north are just going to blitz that northern side.
Yeah, I think that you'd be right to say that. I mean, for Regnum Kaya to regroup potentially at some point, you might be safe enough to hold it for another zone or two if you're really lucky, just because so many teams are going to be crunched on that outside edge. I think also Regnum Kaya's, slightly safe, where they're assuming a lot of teams aren't going to crash these locations. As long as they take shots and they send players off, I don't think there's a lot of teams that want to crash in stage 3 or 4 at the moment in this lobby, which leaves them very safe. And I'd love to be proved wrong on that aspect. I'd love to be proved wrong.
Well,
and I'm already getting slightly proven wrong, but even then I think that's like last ditch attempt there for the Flash.
They've still got 2 more players up towards the as fields. They did just try and send it, and I mean, it goes back maybe to what you were saying earlier, Blank, towards the start of the day, how this lobby feels a little bit timorous sometimes, a little bit timid, and that's what maybe Rectum Kaya are banking on, because right now nobody is crashing them, but there are crashes, and they're happening onto Weibo, and they are holding off very, very effectively against Nuclear Zone. 33Z hears that pin pulled and immediately repositions. What a clean hold coming through from Weibo. Getting bogged down in this compound is often a death sentence. So the fact that they're able to clean that one out nice and quickly, nice and efficiently, is brilliant.
Hey, Hero threw a good grenade there. That was nice.
I know.
I personally think that a lot of the crashes that we're seeing come through are born not out of a decision, but out of desperation. I think a lot of the crashes are like, we have to go for this spot, we don't have much choice. Instead of, we'll take this spot because it's good and we're confident we win that fight. I don't think there's a lot of that going on. And I think that's the main thing that is sad for me, especially for a group stage, PMGC. Yeah, like you say, it's a bit of a timid lobby. There's definitely a few exceptions to that rule, but because it is so timid, like again, Rectum Kaya is just forced to play a slower game. It's taken them a day or so to kind of figure that out, but again, taking this 2-2 split, it's the smartest thing they can do here, where they know that teams, if they crash them, they're likely a 2 or 3 man squad, and they're happy to hold that off from those positions, and just like that, they own such a large amount of the zone. I mean, Silas even rotating out here, that's a bit much, but I think they're so confident people aren't going to make the move.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely not the sort of play you could be making over towards finals, probably not even back in the gauntlet either, to hold this much ground. But Silas rotating out was pretty bold, but with this circle, hard southwest shift, it might just pay off. He's a little bit ahead of the game when it comes to scouting out that west side, and they might need to crunch further in.
Yeah, Regnum Kaya over on the northern edge. We are heading down towards farm area. Dip's still involved, which is currently held by Arcred, GK, and then Borzov to the north of it. VP were able to move around prison, which is very much a big old point of interest here on this circle, just because over towards Lumberyard as well, you have this high ground that sort of cuts teams in half in terms of their rotation of where they want to go. It's not easy, definitely not easy to play. Alliance is either forced to head on towards the north side into open ground, or they swing down towards the south, but True Rippers has got that angle covered right now.
I'm calling it now. It's going to be a heal-off final zone with someone up top and someone underneath in the shelter. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I'm calling it right now, right here in stage 3. It's 100% guaranteed. The only time
you gotta stop saying it's guaranteed when you
we've only ever seen 1 0 elimination chicken dinner, and that happened on, well, it was on Sandhawk, back in the day when we still had that as a map in the rotation, with 1 player down in cave. I loved it.
Yeah, he's playing in this lobby right now.
I know.
Who is it?
Huh?
Who is it?
It's the Virtus Pro Boys, isn't it?
But which one?
Ooh, I can't remember which one. Definitely one of them.
Oh, you've been found wanting. It was
no, hang on a minute. You should, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, there we go. Let's see if we can do it again.
Let's see. Let's see. Over towards the north side is DRX coming down from Mansion. Again, pretty open zone, so they'll have to kind of transition round. They could play west side of the road, which is a little bit of a lip to play off the back of. It's not ideal, though, because the circle's likely to move off that position, but it will give them some safety into the future. I'll tell you what, right now, it's not looking enjoyable playing down towards the south.
No, it's pretty crammed, pretty difficult sight lines to stay away from. But the center's not looking too favorable either. I mean, it is a lot of open ground around this shelter area. Those entrances really providing a lot of cover for those teams. But look at the crashes starting to come through. I mean, 2 players crashing in for the Burmese schools, and we're coming back up to the northeast. Oh dear. Make up your mind, Mr. Circle. Oh, they just can't figure it out. Twisted Mind's very happy about this. In their compound, they should feel pretty good with themselves. A nade around the side, but it's shot from Godspeed to be able to land over towards Bose. And that's a flush immediately. The nade's over towards Win, not going to find their way through. Who's hocking those ones over then? Is that Geeke? Is that the back lines of Geeke putting more nades in?
It feels like an overinvestment. I feel like they could just clear the angle potentially as a 2-man, but I mean, you're walking so close to this. Yeah, finally. Yeah, they did, by the way. You're right. You're right. Finally, it's got done. I think there was like 8 or 9 grenades sent that way. Just a lot to be sending in. DRX rocking up over towards Influence Rage. For them, this is a big pickup. It's a very big pickup. Sadly, there is a lot of other players all taking shots down towards this position. Goodness me, that's a terrifying noise to be hearing. For Twisted Minds, this is a big chance for them. A big chance for their region as well to do them proud. I think there was a lot of hopes riding on Twisted Minds in terms of them as a team. Freak and Lord rejoining at PMGC is a really cool sight to see for me. But I want to see them go a little bit further than that. Honestly, right now down at 24 points is not where I expected them to finish.
No, it's below par. It is below par. It's not a happy time. But this is PMGC. You know, these are the best in the world at what they do. It's not always easy to find your way through, even if you are the best in your region. With previous showings, with previous experience, it's a new game every year. And you need to be adaptable to it. At the moment, it doesn't seem like they're quite up to that task. On the north side of this circle, there's a lot of open ground. And maybe VP could stretch out towards it, but Alliance kind of have the run out from prison all the way up covered. And Regnum Kaya have sort of been the slowest team to move from the north to the hard southwest shift, but that's now benefited them because of this this back shift from the circle, moving all the way back out to those fields. It's made life a little bit tricky for a lot of our teams here.
Especially down towards the south side. Like I said, around prison, like it's that slope that comes down. You can see right here on screen, which, you know, so beautifully displays it for us. But True Rippers sort of wanted them to push down a little bit sooner off the back of this. E-Arena's got very good sightlines on this one. See ETSH just like flying around in circles, attempting to not get shot at. It's like, I'm sorry, I've got some bad news for you. This is so open.
Oh no, oh no. Oh,
it doesn't help driving back and forth. You're still in open sightlines. Oh, dear me.
They are absolutely getting battered on that south side. I mean, maybe they'll find a way through, maybe not. Hey, there's a little bit of a knock over towards E-Arena coming through from the Burmese ghouls, who are crunching in the west side of things. Weibo right now with the northernmost shelter entrance hold. They are feeling pretty good about themselves. They're watching all of this happen. They know they're potentially going to be able to pick up all the pieces from this as well, and fight on from that position on the south edge, which is not a terrible spot to be in at all if you can get rid of all these teams to your south. And that is the big challenge here. Arcred, they want to start. This is a flex out, a solo position, and the nades do find their way down.
He's able to hit a full-on strike with that one. Might even get the knock and the flush, but not meant to be as Safji's able to sidle his way round some cover. So pick back up again. His Weibo on the other side as a 4-man, attempting to not nade each other this game. The Burmese ghouls do make their way up into a shelter of their own. It's very much on the edge of the circle. You can see just how disgusting a lot of this map is, where you have 6 teams all in one location. We're heading over towards Museum here. DRX already losing a player. The slightly late smoke, commiseration smoke, let's say. An Alliance once again being put to bed by Regnum Kaya.
Now on the northern side, a big crash from Alliance over towards Regnum Kaya, and it does not go their way. They pick up all of those. I think they managed to keep everyone alive there as well on the hold. We're taking shots every which way, though, and it's really E-Arena on that south side who are going to have the majority of the focus on them. They've got 2 players left standing as ETSH finally fall. E-Arena, Geeke, both going low. There's more Molotovs, more nades coming through, and Easy for Bad Boy is putting such a pinch on this fight. It is made so difficult. And again, it's Weibo who are just profiting off of this. They're holding everyone out on that south edge. True Rippers finally slide on past and might actually be into a bit of a winner here if they can keep things going. The Burmese Ghouls have to send down into the trenches. Dirty K with the shotgun challenge, and his teammate not going to be able to find it. Sorry, what teammate? It's True Rippers teammates who are going to be falling there. First Pro chiming in, Arcred as well. Goodness me. Dirty K just about clinging on there.
First Pro is very selective the way they dealt with that one. Left Dirty K to live another day and just send all the shots over towards True Rippers. And that's the angle from that eastern side. I mean, this is the best thing that Virtus Pro can do here. Now, here's a prediction, though, is that the next few minutes, Virtus Pro is going to make a big crash and die.
Okay. All right. Well, where are they going to crash? I think is the bigger prediction, right? I think that you could definitely say that. True Rippers cannot deal with 30k today. Oh no, Jelly able to shut it down, but there's that Voston pickoff on the backlines. They do take all of the True Rippers out of action. Tony K falls as well, so E-Arena drawn short. Regnum Kaya on the hunt for their first place spot. A little bit of ascendancy at the start of today with 2 Erangels back-to-back on big games potential for a big points tally earned by Regnum Kaya. As the circle shifts away from them, though. And this might be the time to crash towards Twisted Minds, or do you wait a little bit later and try and go out to the fields?
For Twisted Minds, the only difficulty is the DRX is on the south side, so if Regnum Kaya did want to try and crash over towards the north side of it, they could potentially get something done there, but it looks like they're going to try and wrap around towards the east here, John, instead. At least 2 of the players sent out as outposts. Milky Way, do they see the vehicle? Is the vehicle hidden? Because as soon as they see the vehicle, they'll probably know a player is there.
Milky Way on the move. Virtus Pro, they haven't gone for their crash yet. I'm still waiting for it. They're sort of slowly pushing into that fight on the south side to have an impact, but what more they can do. Hot Red, I mean, they're flexing out down here for so long, and they want like, oh no, we need more elims for this. Come on, Easy for Bad Boy went down. We need some value. Let's get stuck in. And they're waiting. To their credit, they are waiting. Oh, here comes the Virtus Pro crash. Blank, they're going into Weibo on that northern shelter hold. Let's see if they succeed. Are they going to prove you wrong? Because a lot of damage already done. Sook and Ordo immediately falling here. Hero as well. But Virtus Pro, they're getting torn up from some which way. I think that's the Burmese Ghouls. 2 of their players are down as well. Now it's up to 33Z to hold down his team as Milky Way lights up the ground floor. Maybe he's going to send downstairs to go for that heal off after all, but no, has to stop because there's a Molotov in the way. Virtus Pro, it's not a full wipe, and they might actually get the reset.
Yeah, it's not horrendous. They do get some points off the back of that. Now the rest of the team is looking to push downstairs. They did get themselves back up into position. A nade goes long. It's not enough. Luckily, Hero attempts to get one down. Will pick up the point for his troubles. And there is a reset available there for Virtus Pro.
Not with the Burmese Ghouls pressure on, though. They actually fell in behind them, and Virtus.pro are downstairs, picking up players, trying to get out of there. Arcred all the while are suffering. They tried to get stuck into the fight. They've only got 4 elims for it right now, Blank, as Weibo have been displaced from this northern side. It is a scrabble for the spot. Burmese Ghouls want to go a little bit further in. Let's see what more they can do, but on the outside, Regnum Kaya did go for the fields. They're playing a 2-2 split again.
Yeah, fair enough. They're just controlling a lot of the zone. They really are controlling a lot of zone. I think that they can see that Twisted Minds is so unwilling to leave that outpost and get anything done. I feel like if you were Twisted Minds, you'd look to try and clear DRX a little bit sooner and then control where Regnum Kaya was coming in from. Instead, now, Regnum Kaya just has a absolute freebie of a lobby, and still Twisted Minds are doing nothing.
A little bit passive from them. DRX are on the wall, but Virtus.pro anything but passive. Burmese Ghouls cannot get through them. And they're still down in the tunnels here, Blank. Regnum Kaya actually have now transitioned all the way down south. They are sat atop the pack. And it's going to go well for them. They're just going to keep everybody in. I mean, maybe they don't really have too much of a choice against the last player from Arcred. But that is what you're looking for. Across the way, I think DRX going down does mean Twisted Minds might find the confidence to get out of there, but Zedwolf just has the angle.
He's going to keep spraying as well. There's no reason not to keep spraying this angle. He'd love to get that pick off there. If you can weaken the museum team, their end game becomes so much more simple. And they can continue to sweep. This might be the back-to-back here for Regnum Kaya. I think they may have cracked the code, John. Good preemptive nade over towards SafG, actually.
Pretty huge. Hardboy did take some shots over towards them before, so they're aware of his position. And to get out of there, yeah, it's not going to happen. You're just not going to be able to find it. On the downstairs, the man himself does emerge into the light of day. The Regnum Kaya are ready to greet them. However, maybe they regret that. They didn't need to step too far forward. Zedwolf goes very, very low, but Wild is holding his nerve, moves in, and there's a refrag coming on through, though, for Voston, who stays alive and gets 2 elims. Pouring on into the Virtus.pro bank right now. He's the last player alive, and Regnum Kaya are getting ruined on the run out from Virtus.pro. They had it all under control, but it's gone to pot now, and Wild cannot find Voston out in the open. It's Twisted Minds who are going to be able to pick this one up.
Voss was so hungry for the elims there, dude. He was so hungry for the elims. We'll pick up a couple. I think Wild was slightly far away trying to set up the nade. The nade comes through slightly late for Regnum Kaya. Now, Twisted Minds technically should win this game, but they've got really no utility to speak of.
Ooh, you're right. And I mean, they've lost their forward position as well. Everybody else is so split, though, right? With Silas completely split from Wild, they're essentially 2 solos. But Silas does have a much more central position. If the circle shifts south, I mean, sure, they got the numbers, but they're only really 3 in effect, right? Because Walsh, very inaccessible. Voston and Wild, their duel is still going. As Voston has the Molotov, Wild will be forced back behind the buggy. Voston trying to spray, but steps up into the sightlines of Twisted Minds. Can't afford to go for it, but Wild takes the bullets too. And now Silas is all alone. Virtus.pro have turned the tables.
Yeah, it's Shudo actually getting that shot over towards Wild from Twisted Minds. Silas wasn't quite able to hold that angle. Good shot over towards Freak to start things off, but I think Voston should be coming through with the backstab very soon.
Not quite.
Oh, he sets himself up behind it. Smart.
Move out for Walsh is interesting there. Silas dips down, maybe looking for the push out further. Voston on high, doesn't stop the res onto Walsh, but he doesn't need to, because Lord decided, you know what? I'm actually just going to go and fight this instead. I'm not going to go for the res. Twisted Minds, I mean, no utility is really, really rough, and he goes for the shots underneath. Voston, the Jewel Meister, looks for more, but Lord is able to do what Wild could not there. Virtus.pro 12 elims, though. It's as good as we've seen them, and they'll be happy with that. Up into top 3, though, for Arcred, who he's been chilling behind this rock for a long time.
Yeah, can Arcred do something? Anything would be great at this point. He's going to have to move. I think he has had an angle onto Chudo at some point during this game. Oh, Silas isn't investing in the first aid kit or some bandages. Finally looking for something. Come on, hard boy. This is your chance. It's a free. That's a free shot. It's a free shot.
He doesn't want it. He's waiting for a better deal. I mean, Silas is closest to the center of everyone here by a hair, but other players are going to have to move slightly before him.
It's all down to gun skill because there is no nades. And now we're in zone 9. It's a big task ahead here for Silas. Hardboy will have to move out into open ground. Maybe a little bit of a distraction here for Silas, potentially.
I think Tudor might be very preoccupied with Silas and might not spot him. Oh, he doesn't know. He's complete broadside. Step up, go for the spray. Hardboy doesn't connect, though, and now the Tudor answered. Not quite. Silas could go for it, though, and find Hardboy. It's a 1v1v1 out in the open, and Silas puts them up to 12. He's slightly more central, and Lord has to push towards him. Oh, this is a nightmare for Twisted Minds. Silas might be able to do it, but no. Lord is closer to the center here. Silas will have to move first. He has to step up. This is going to be an impossible challenge. Surely Silas can't do this.
Oh, he just has to hit the shots. It's the thing. I won't be able to do it, and Twisted Minds will able to be finishing out this game. But what a messy ending that was. A lack of control there from Twisted Minds, in my opinion.
Second place, though, with 12 elims at the end there, Blank. That is a brilliant back-to-back performance from Regnum Kaya. But you're right. Twisted Minds, no presence, really no aura in that game, and they needed it. Unfortunately, for everyone else, it was just a little bit too good of a position.
Yeah, very nice there from Regnum Kai overall. Like I said, Silas in a extremely fun little end game. For Hardboy, gives me with guys shaking at the end there with the amount of adrenaline going through him. That spray was awkward. Had to even go for the full spray reset to get it done. But yeah, for Twisted Minds, I want to see a little bit more out of them there. They do get the win after all. For some teams, that's all that's needed to get that confidence back on board. It's like you got to get the old shoelaces done. That is important. But yeah, I do think that game in particular, VP do a very good job as well to get some more points. It was much more convincing from VP that game overall, which I was happy with.
Well, they do close it down from the museum. They're able to put everyone else down in the dirt, but only just for Twisted Minds.
And Twisted Minds finally secure their first chicken dinner for this PMGC. This squad was all the way down in 13th place. I gotta say, I mean, it looked a little shaky there for a second, Max, man, but this was a huge win for the squad.
I mean, they had so much control and they gave it up, and because of that, they lost a lot of their forces, a lot of their players in the process. And luckily enough, there was Lord. He was able to redeem it in this game versus Silas. That 1v1, I'm telling you, the high ground is not there, or Silas has a single smoke niptura. Maybe that win doesn't quite go the way of Twisted Minds, and maybe we'd be looking at a Regnum back-to-back chicken dinner. But Twisted Minds, I like that they were trying to do as much as they did in this finishing play, but there is a limit that 4 players can do, and I feel like here they bit down almost more than they can actually chew.
Yeah, I think it really just came down to not really being able to have those angles covered by their teammates, right? But they do get it in the end, and they were able to just get that win. That's exactly what they needed right now. You know, they were sitting in the bottom 5, not really sure what to do next. And this game, hopefully, is going to be the turning point for them, the game that gets them that springboard effect to just move on and do better things in the next game.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Lord and Freak in particular, absolute OGs, right, from the MENA region. They're going to be over the moon after to finally get themselves this chicken dinner. And, you know, they were at the bottom of the rankings, Hot Juke. So getting this win, actually, I do wonder how high are they truly going to stand on the rankings after this?
That's what I'll say. This is a huge win for the squad. I mean, they were in a big threat like position. They were all the way down in 13th, so this is going to definitely put them in a shot here, right, for getting into that last chance. So a good win. You know, they did take that museum spot. That circle there was pretty wild, you know, but we're seeing some pretty crazy plays here. Not to mention Regnum Karya, just so many eliminations in this game, Max, man. They got to be pushing themselves up even higher in the leaderboards from the last game.
I mean, Regnum Karya getting eliminations or Wild getting eliminations?
That's true. Yeah.
He was like, what, 7, 8 eliminations this game? He was on fire. He was learning from his teammate from earlier on that previous chicken dinner on our angle. So very nice stuff indeed. DRX, though, big send right onto this area on Museum, sharing it with the likes of Twisted Minds. And I was actually surprised, Nipchiro, that Twisted Minds were willing to kind of share that wall with DRX. I thought they would just nade them to hell and just take that position for themselves.
I kind of like it, though, to be honest, because it meant that they were not going to attack themselves, right? I think there was a lot of teams on all sides that meant DRX couldn't really make a move, and Twisted were allowing that to happen just because it meant safety for themselves. They knew DRX were kind of stuck there. Other teams weren't going to really try and do much and push when they knew 2 teams were there. So actually DRX's position meant that they were able to keep relatively safe, but a lot of emotions going on here. It's a good thing they won, because goodness me, there's a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah. I mean, Voston, how the hell was he able to sneak out of shelter? He just came around and just got rid of most of Regnum Karya on his lonesome. Really good stuff from him in particular. But I don't know how he got through. He just disappeared and reappeared, and boom, 1v2. Easily secured for this guy as you go through the rotations. And I want us to all pay attention here to how Regnum Karya played their early to mid-game transition in particular. So, of course, Regnum Karya usually playing Rozok. Early transition, circle not too far away, quick pivot, and they go for this amazing 2-2 split with 2 players in heaven on the northern side and 2 players going into the southern compound. There's just literally 1 building and a few walls around it, and this gives them 100% vision on what the hell is happening on the northern edge of the circle, which then enables them to go for the best rotation possible. Regrouping, they've seen all the fights that were happening on the southern edge, and they go for this wide eastern rotation next to Shelter Nipchira. I think that was literally the best macro rotation we saw the entire match from Regnum Karya this game.
Yeah, it was really well played, and well played because it was really well thought out. They had the information necessary to make that play work for them, and then sending Silas center just in case, right, was actually what gave them the almost win, right? Some really good stuff from them. Really forward thinking gameplay from them, and look at the points it gets them, Jukes. 18 on the board to come right, a 28-point game. I mean, it's nearly over 40 points that they've gotten in just 2 games.
That's it. Regnum Karya, they've downloaded the lobby. They have downloaded the technology for sure. The update is installed and ready to go. I mean, they didn't win the chicken dinner and still got the most points in this game, Max. And you can just tell by the way they're playing this. I think they've just understood, okay, this lobby is a lot slower than before, you know?
Yeah.
All we got to do is just take our time, pick our positions, and let our gun skill do the talking. And man, they're making it happen there.
The timing at which they take fights in particular, Hodgix, is just so good. That fight on Shelter was timed beautifully. The fight is happening. There's Weibo, there's Virtus Pro. The teams are deep inside of Shelter. They're like, hey, you can't fight back. That's when we're going to push and engage you. And that timing was A-OK from this squad. Here we go, though. MVP is Lord. And it's good to see Nipchiro. Lord, finally, you know, on an MVP graphic. It's been a while. But you know what? He's building back that team synergy, and he's finally back on board here for PMGC.
Yeah, it's really nice to see them back on where we expected them to be. Hopefully this is going to be just the game, the start of their next journey forward into that maybe top 3, you know, still could be done here as we look at the overalls. And I am looking at Twisted. They are in the top 11 now, but Regnum Karya straight to the top. EA, after 8-9 matches, have finally been dethroned, and it is Regnum Karya, Max.
Lock it in. Lock it in. Regnum Karya in first place, looking mighty fine here going into the second half of this tournament. Guys, we're going to be right back after this short break. Get your popcorn, get your drinks, and we'll be back in a minute.
krizi geçirmiş olabilirim galiba. Tamam, aleykümselam anneciğim, hadi görüşürüz.
Hadi görüşürüz, öptüm, bay bay.
Welcome back to the halfway mark of day 2 of Group Red. I got none other than Boston from Virtus Pro with me. This is a team that you guys came in as champions of CSA, what made it considered to be one of the hardest regions in the world, honestly, for PUBG Mobile esports. You fell short in the gauntlet, and in Group Red, day 1, you definitely fell short. In day 2, there seems to be a bit of a resurgence from the squad. What's been the underlying issue for VP?
Так, Востон, вы пришли в этот турнир как чемпионы ПМСЛ Центральной и Южной Азии, что является одним из сильнейших регионов, и не справились с Gauntlet Stage, а сейчас испытываете немного трудностей в групповой стадии. Как ты думаешь, какие причины вашей команды?
Ну, в целом, Gauntlet Stage для нас задался сначала... Ну, первый день был неплохой, остальные дни нам просто не везло. Мы делали мувы, играли не командно. Мы разобрали, зашли в Group Stage, но также испытывали трудности. Вот. Сейчас команда чувствует себя отлично, мы провели разбор. Вот. Ну, мы просто в целом устали. Перед ПМСЛ у нас была очень плотная подготовка. Перед Pmgc также очень плотная подготовка была. Сейчас мы выдохнули и с новыми силами на второй день зашли. Показываем, я считаю, нашу игру. И то, что если мы не камбэкнем в топ-3, то на шансе мы будем бороться за 2 слота.
So we just a little bit burned out after the Gauntlet because we got a hard schedule before the Pmgc and also before the PMSL. And now we talked with our teams after the Gauntlet what we're gonna do in group stage, and if we will fail to be on top 3, we'll try our best in the last chance. So it's because we're just a little bit tired and we just burned out. So now everything is okay. We're gonna do our best.
That's fair. There's a lot of factors that go when you go to such a big event like Pmgc, the biggest one we have of the year as well. And you were talking about wanting to be in top 3, or if you fell from top 3. Well, I got some stats for you. You are currently 39 points away from third place, and 11 points, or just actually 1 point away from 11th place. What is the team looking to do with 9 matches remaining of Group Red to make sure that you get to third place?
До третьего места, до топ-3 у вас 39 всего лишь поинтов осталось, а чтобы спуститься, 11 поинтов. Какие планы на последние 9 матчей у вас? Может, вы поменяете общий подход или игровой стиль?
Мы будем также продолжать, как мы будем также продолжать играть хорошо, как вот эти первые 3 игры. Мы делаем все отлично по карте, все понимаем, все друг друга хорошо себя чувствуют. Все у нас хорошо, мы будем также продолжать хорошо просто играть, и все. Такие вот планы.
We will try as first 3 matches today, continue to dominate, and we'll do our best and try to continue as first 3 matches. Yeah.
Okay, you're going to try to continue what you were able to do in the first 3 matches. Well, we already had a resurgence from a PMSL champion like Rangam Karya. We're trying to see if Virtus Pro can actually continue to bounce back and make it to the top 3. We have 9 matches left, 3 matches left today for Group Red. Let's see what Virtus Pro can do.
नहीं हो रहा है खेल रहा मैं थोड़ी देर में खेलते वैसे थोड़ी देर में खेलते पर स्ट्रीम कर रहा हूँ
Hey, maybe been feeling a little bit of burnout early on, but you know what? I got the medicine for you. And that's the Infinix GT30 series, the official gaming phone of PMGC 2025. Engineered for precision, performance, and victory, empowering every gamer to hashtag be the one and outplay the rest on the global stage, man. So get your hands on one of those as fast as you can here, because we got to talk about Virtus Pro. What's going on? Right, day 2, I saw some pretty crazy rotations, right? But I'll tell you
Are
what,
ठीक
so
है, done.
far they had 8 points on
बस
day
मैं थोड़ा
one.
glitch हो
Now
गया था,
they're
इसलिए game
at
delete करके
30.
मैं
What was it?
फिर से download
They
किया।
had quite a bit. Yeah.
खेलते
So
बंद कर दे
as a matter of 39. So 31 on the day. That's 10
done,
points
done,
a
done,
game
done,
so
done,
far.
done.
So a huge resurgence for the squad here in Neptune.
Yeah, really nice to see. We were talking about how, man, they just weren't able to
अभी भी
get
7
all
GB का game
4
हो गया
players
बे।
to the end stage, right? And today, 2 out of 3 games, they've been able to do that. And 2 out of 3 games, we've seen them in the top 5 with a lot of eliminations. This is exactly what we wanted to see from VP Max.
So pretty
देखो,
much
फोन
they're
किया था
having a
मैं।
day one every
उठाई
day.
उन्हें।
Yeah.
You look at it.
Yeah. More than that.
Yeah, more
Like
than that.
the
They're
single.
doing more than a day one in every single game. Look at that. Really good performance. So definitely really happy with Virtus Pro. And of course, you know, they said it's a little bit tough going
एक
to
मैं
an
जिसको
event and
दिखाऊंगा,
stuff. So
उसके बाद में
they're in the thick of things
खत्म
now.
करके आ
They're
जाऊंगा
fully
फिर
ready. They're
खेलने के
fully
लिए। मैं भी 7:30
prepared.
बजे तक।
And they are going to be continuing their ascent
उसके पहले हो
towards the
जाएगा
top.
अगर
Still
इसको
can't believe we got our
मेरा ये
friends
डाउनलोड हो गया तो
so watching
कर दूंगा
these plays
स्ट्रीम
on that
एक
first
मिनट दिखा दूं यार,
angle.
रुक
But,
जाओ बता।
no, these circles have been interesting.
इसके
And you know
बाद
what, team
चालू
that I was
होगा अभी
hoping to see a
थोड़ी
bit
देर
more from because we hyped them up a lot, Mitra, at the start.
And it's not even a thing of, oh, they're trying to do big plays and it's just not working out. We've barely seen them at all here. On the Rondo, we did see them a little bit there in that top 3, but on both Erangel so far, it's just been quiet, dead silent from them. So I want to see maybe what's going on with them. I'm going to pay attention to them a little bit more in the next game. But it has been a weird thing. So that's where Alliance also, we just saw them go out there to Twisted Minds at Museum because I was wondering what the heck happened. I loved seeing the different side of them because in the first episode they were very compact and then they lose the 1v4. But then they come over to the next Erangel and immediately they're spreading out over that eastern side in that last game. You know, they got a big split going. So I was like, okay, cool. Really good from them. They switched tactics there a little bit. I liked that, but unfortunately that play just not going to be panning out for them, unfortunately there, Max.
Yeah, I mean, looking at also our top performers here, top players of this previous match is going to be Silas also up there, which I'm pretty sure, you know, is one of his teammates, or most of his teammates have been popping off today. I mean, it's good to see Silas step up because I still see some people around saying like, oh, Silas is just getting carried by Wild. Stuff like, no, bro, like, sure, he's an IGL, so he doesn't have to be like, you know, the big frag of the squad, but man, this guy back in the day was one of the best fraggers out there. Put some respect on Silas's name. Like, when he has to step up and pop off, he will pop off, okay? Do not doubt Silas, okay?
Yeah. If anybody felt doubts after that, watching that last game, Neptune, right? I mean, he shut them all up by himself, making it happen, extending his team out towards the later, parts of that match, and shutting down some players in the process. I mean, it was close. I mean, I don't know if anybody else was like me, but I saw him in that 1v1 situation. Even though he was at a disadvantage, I was like, he wins these. You know, it was close.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he nearly won the whole game for the rest of his squad, and yeah, maybe he didn't put up the amount of eliminations in that game that we saw from some of his teammates. But might I just remind you, in Erangel #1, he basically took out Geeke single-handedly. We're talking about the Loxy 1v4 onto Alliance. He took out Geeke nearly on his own there. So Silas just as good as every single other one of his teammates when it comes to that fragging power. So 110%, man. Nah, Silas is as good as he ever was.
110. Right. What about 120? 130?
120. You know what?
Yeah.
200.
The sky's the limit when it comes to Silas.
I love it, man. I want to see how much of a crazy comeback we're going to see from VP though. Honestly, that's a really cool storyline because right now they're still on that cutoff. They're in 12th place, right? But to go from 8 points to 39 in just 3 games, it's definitely something we got to talk about here, because if they get another chicken dinner in this game, I mean, they could possibly even make a run for top 3.
I mean, the thing is, the games we've had so far from them today have been here to try and kind of redeem, what are they doing over there? Trying to redeem what happened in day 1, and they've done that. They're back in the race. They're back in a position where one next big follow-up performance in Iptra would allow them to climb the rankings significantly. I'm talking middle of the rankings, or if not even higher. So currently the setup from Virtus Pro is there, but you need a follow-up. You need to see more. The second half, if it's as good as the first half, I'm telling you, they might not be that far off from top 3, and that would be one of the biggest comebacks so far this PMGC.
I 100% agree. I was just looking at those numbers, right, and it would be kind of crazy with VP in 39 and Flash in 78 in that top 3 to really go, oh, VP could make top 3. But then we have to remember, once again, they had 8 points 3 ago, they had 8 points. Now they have 39. It is not inconceivable that in another 3 matches, they could be 4th place with, 70, 60 points, something like that. It's not inconceivable for this team.
Yeah, I mean, 18 points in the last game was huge for them. I mean, so right now, let's do that math, right? Flash, 3rd place, 78. VP, 39. So that's literally, VP has to double their points to catch up to Flash. So they need 39 points to get up to 3rd place. And a 20-point game, right, will get in that conversation. The hard part is like, yeah, it's 39 points, but we're pretty sure Flash, Influence, Rage, all those teams are going to probably get some points here and now as well. So that gap's going to grow, right? But if we're going to even talk about that possible comeback from VP, like let's just do a little bit of like theory crafting. Honestly, I'm at that point to where they definitely need probably 10 points a game for the rest of the day, and then at least one 20-point game in my eyes.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I think you're right. They've got to get at least one big win, and then they've got to get the 2 other matches in a top 5 at least. Like, it's got to be a very, very strong performance for them to do that. Based off what we've seen the first half of the day, it's possible. But to continue that, I mean, you're going to have to do the same sort of thing as Influence, Rage, and EA and Flash even in day 1, right, yesterday. So that kind of consistency is pretty rare. And for VP, it's possible, but is it really going to happen, Max? I don't know.
I have no idea. Would be great to see that step up continue, but a little hard. Also not.
Oh, hard back to you, brother.
Pmgc, look at that. I'm not going to be wholesome though. DRX, what's going on? What's happening? Come on, we need to see South Korea step up. We had D+ do it back in their respective group of Group Green, and DRX. To be completely fair, looking at the gauntlet, I was like, man, they're going to make it in gauntlet top 7, easy, no doubt in my mind. Didn't make it. And now they're just middling performance. This is not the DRX that I see that just normally does so well globally once they step outside of South Korea. And right now, what is that, 9th position? Right now, 50 points? We know DRX can achieve so much more. And I know it's easy to say like, oh, we expected more from them. But they're not going for these fights. For example, that push on Museum versus Twisted Minds in that previous game. They just send on the wall. I was like, but you're not, even if you just survive, like, you're not going to get anything of massive value out of that. I want to see you try and wrestle Museum away from Twisted Mind, crash in the building, take the fight, take the risk. Because unfortunately, if you keep playing these positions where you just, oh, let's try and survive a little bit deeper in this game, well, unfortunately, top 3 for me is just not in the cards with the current caliber of gameplay we've witnessed from DRX.
You know, one thing I realized, Max, man, is especially in this lobby, I don't really feel like the coexisting tech exists. You know what I'm talking about? Like, if this was a different lobby, maybe that DRX push on the Museum has a slight chance of working, because some teams are like, oh, you know what? They're on the outside. We're here. We're just going to coexist and win the game together, right? But that's just not happening here, Neptura, right? So, I mean, it's a crazy play, by the way. It's super risky. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that I can't try to figure out why they would do that push anyway, you know, because, yeah, they like, why not just go take it to Twisted Minds and try to make something happen here. But you know what, guys, we got some tech issues. We'll be right back after a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
I don't think any MSL champion teams are stronger than us.
ممكن اقول لرؤوف طور لعبك لانه حبي احنا جايين ندمرك. بالتاكيد يعني احنا ابطال بي ام اس ال العربي. Mina region من أفضل الريجنات بالعالم.
Chúng tôi khá tự tin ạ, tại vì chúng tôi là đương kim vô địch C nên chúng tôi không sợ. Chúng tôi đã đạt được 4 phút 1 trong 1 ngày, thì chúng tôi đến đây mục tiêu phá kỷ lục. Chúng tôi sẽ cố gắng sẽ được 6 phút 1 trong 1 ngày.
I think we will qualify straight to the final.
إذا أنت بطل بي ام اس ال ممكن تكون محظوظ بجيم جيمين، أما إنك تكون محظوظ إنك تفوز بطولة هذا الشيء مستحيل.
Bên Milan, tại vì họ là một đội mới nên họ sẽ có những tâm lý khá là bất ngờ.
I think probably Virtus Pro just looked like that.
Нельзя, блядь, сказать, что они удачи, что они нормально сыграли. Там нет неудач. Те, кто на удачу играл. Я посмотрел, типа, фавориты с региона выиграли.
Wolves esports. They have cups. Best player in the world in my opinion.
Đội VP ạ, tại vì bên khu vực này khá là căng thẳng và họ chứng minh bản thân mình từ những ngày đầu tiên.
İyiler. Kötü değiller ama heyecanlı oynuyorlardı.
Я считаю, что из всех победителей PMSL является самой сильной командой.
Pro çok iyi oynadı. DX zaten e, bu PUBG Mobile oynadığımdan beri hiç sevmiyorum oyun tarzlarını. Kendimi seviyorum ama oyun tarzlarını sevmiyorum. Yani bölgeleri güçsüz olduğu için ben MENA bölgesi demek istiyorum. Oradaki takımları biraz daha vurmak kolay diyebilirim. Main fight hariç. I don't think any MSL champion teams are stronger than us.
Я думаю, для нашей команды будет очень сложно зарабатывать поинты на устах с Америки.
ممكن اقول لرؤوف طور لعبه لانه حبي احنا جايين ندمرك.
Em muốn một lần nhắc đến đội đội tuyển Việt BMSL Milan là cách chơi của họ có thể là khá là ổn ở bên cuộc đấy, nhưng ra đây chúng tôi chưa chắc các bạn đã làm được.
Yes, I think we have a lower experience than the other teams, but I think this is benefits us. It's in our advantage because the teams don't know how we're really going to play.
Saya tak akan biarkan kesilapan yang sama berlaku dua kali.
It's my fault, but I always come back. Don't get twisted. Our talent was never the problem.
Bom, este ano voltamos com mais fome, mais disciplina e com a mentalidade bem mais clara. Acredito que este é o nosso momento.
Saya tak nak orang lain ingat, tim Malaysia ni datang untuk bercuti je. Tapi saya nak diorang tahu yang kita orang boleh bagi saingan terbaik untuk tim-tim global.
Damn, that could have been a good topic to talk about.
If they can put up another big performance, keep themselves at the top of the tables. Of course, over the course of 3 days, if you get a 50-point average, you're more than likely going to be safe, Blank. And they have already surpassed, well, they're very close to surpassing that metric, breaking that 100-point barrier. Teams over that 100-point barrier today are going to be having a good time of it.
20 seconds to go. We get into things. Does get a little bit worrying now towards the end of the day. Some teams have very much got themselves secured up towards that top side, but there's still teams that are chasing. For Twisted Minds, very much needed win. It felt like it wasn't super convincing though. I think that's my only issue with it. And I think even the coach looked a little bit frustrated with the way that went down. But for Twisted Minds, there is still a chance now. They've put themselves in a position to do it now with those additional points on board. The middle of the pack, though, is getting quite close, I'd like to say.
Yeah, it's a little bit dicey around the middle, and they're dancing with death around that 11th place as well. Because at the moment, it feels like anyone really could be taking up those bottom 5 spots. The plane path a little lilt to the left. And they are going to be trying to break their way east, I'm sure. We'll wait for the circle to see if it's going to be messy. The Burmese Ghouls out very, very early. So are Virtus Pro, actually, over the military island. But a big split for the Burmese Ghouls. They're chilling. See if True Rippers are going to give them any trouble this time.
I think for Burmese Ghouls, it's been a little bit slow on the rotate outside of Sosnovka at the moment. On a real one, talking about Burmese Ghouls now. I've taken off my Necromancer hat for the time being. But yeah, I think for Burmese Ghouls, they definitely do need to get a little bit of a move on over towards the northern side, slightly quicker on those circles. We'll see, though. It could be another Sosnovka circle right now, and everything I'm saying is completely wrong. Be a very western plane path again. I think teams are having to deal with this multiple times today, but they should be used to it by now. But we get a northern circle split between the river, which is always a little bit awkward at times, but very playable.
Is Walsh going to get the same spray? No, okay. I thought he was going to get the same spray down onto Arc Red there. Oh man, that would have been pretty crazy to get the back-to-back double spray on the start of the game. But he's so wants it again as well. Look at him. He's looking at those clouds. There's no one left up there. They were a little bit nippier on the way down. So he's denied that opportunity. All unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to get some more points on board. Let's take a look at the points rankings at the time being. You can see there, 11th place, Twisted Minds, 40 points. So although coming off the back of a win, it really hasn't pushed them that far up the lobby there at all. So Twisted Minds need to go further now again. Which is rough, John. It's definitely rough. Not too fun for our squads here towards the bottom of the tables. And again, I'd like to reiterate that this is quite a slow lobby in terms of the amount of action that happens. So a lot of these games are sort of determined by where the circle is going over towards. That and a couple of slick rotations. So you really do have to try very hard to get those big games. Otherwise, you're sort of relying on like 8 to 9 point placement games, in which case everyone else is trying to profit above you. So it's slow going, working up these rankings. You're really in the mud at the moment, wading through it to try and get towards the top 3. And I think that's sort of what made the gauntlet so fun for a lot of squads, where it really was possible at any moment to get in towards that top 7. It didn't feel like it was game over, even in map 4 or 5 on that final day. Here, things are starting to get decided already.
Yeah, we'll start to stretch out away from you. I mean, we saw the bubble play around 90 points towards that 11th place during Group Green. And so teams looking to try and get ahead and over that. Right now, we're a little bit lower than that average. It would be an 80-point bubble if you doubled the score, which you have half of our matches still to play. But that is not necessarily the best way to go about things. We'll have to see where we're going to end up this time around. It could be completely different. There are a lot of dynamics at play that affect where these bubbles land. But for now, have to wait. Weibo, they were locked in a fight quite early on, and yeah, that's going to be a very quick flush coming through from E-Arena. Weibo not managing to get really anything on their drop for the first 4 minutes and 20 seconds of this game is a really rough time, and I don't think any amount of good rotates can patch up the lack of looting time that they may have on board for this one. Fortunate that the circle stays near Severny.
Yeah, I think something I'd be really interested to look into is the amount of eliminations compared between Group Green and Group Red so far, specifically on Rondo. So I think both our Rondos for Group Red have been pretty quiet outside of a couple of initial skirmishes. It's mostly that end game where things start to get a little bit more hectic, but even so, like, most of the mid game is very slow. No one's really taking those fights. The amount of recalls we had weren't too frequent either, because honestly, most teams remained as 4 players in the first place. Boars are going to look to try and hold out the Burmese Ghouls as they leave from Sosnovka.
There's a replay on order going down. I can report to you, Blank, that over the 3 matches that we had on Rondo in Group Green, there were 245 eliminations. I don't have the stats to hand of what we've seen so far. Of course, that's over 3 Rondos. So if you divide that by 3, then, of course, you get about 81 and 2/3. So about 81 or 82 elims per match, which is obviously a lot more than players in the lobby because of those recall beacons. I don't have the stats to hand on this group currently, but in general, that's the sort of metric that you're looking at. Just a bit over 80 is probably around where you expect those elimination counts to be for a Rondo.
Need someone to add those tallies up in the background, please. Thank you. Burmese Ghouls do make that exit, but it's not amazing. As Unknown will get shut down. Cause does get picked up, though. They did send out the sacrifice from the Burmese Ghouls. Try and figure out what was going on the other side. I think it's point in time, though. Like, again, this is a bit of a strange one for me. You're even still going for it. It's a bit of a strange one for me because I do think that this it's not a horrible time to go for an Eastern Bridge rotate. And I don't think that True Rippers are a team looking for that bridge camp here.
Oh, not yet. On that western side, it's a little bit too fraught for liking. Yeah, Burmese schools, they got to divert. They're not going to try and push through the Boars. And the Boars are spending so much time down here, they're kind of scuppering their own game a little bit. And losing a player as well. Well, not losing, but taking a knock to it is far from ideal. Even if they are going to get a point, it's going to slow them down very, very heavily. Moving into the rest of this one, you can see Influence Rage. They're just about to meet the south side of the center of these teams. And they're going to have a tough time finding a home, but DRX still moving means that there's some flexibility in where Influence Rage can end up.
Yeah, exactly. Influence Rage. A cut between DRX. I'll make this rotate through. DRX has a lot of angles. Even got to play up towards Everest right now, scouting. It's a bit of a sluggish start for a lot of squads here. But we're waiting on stage 2 to really define where these teams have to leave to. And I think most teams, it's fair enough that they are keeping this one under wraps, right? You know, playing it a little slower, just because the next zone could easily head far over towards that north side or far down towards the south, in which case some drastic rotates have to come through from a few of our squads. So you don't want to get bogged down right now just before the circle shifts. And it is over towards the north side. Probably less ideal for most teams. Most squads don't really want to go sit up towards the north side of the map at the beginning of the game, just because there's so many more critical locations on the south side. But because it does move north, it means there's a lot of squads that need to readjust.
Yeah, it's going to force teams to go over those rivers, those bridge crossings. Very, very hot spot action potential. And a lot of wide flanks, I think, in the very near future. For True Rippers, it may be better to stay back for a little bit. I think, unless you can really blast through right now, playing edge on this one might be a little bit better. A really unfavorable position around the south side of Rosok, I think it's safe to say, because there's already teams to your north, and you don't have the flexibility to go out wide that other teams do.
Just see what Arena does here, just because they're on the western side, but they are the closest on the west side. So what position do they want to play? Do they want to kind of wrap down towards the bank, just the north of Rosok, play that spot, or do they want to continue holding around box compound, cut out teams that might want to be trying to get through from North George, like Geeke as well as DRX? It's True Rippers, though, managed to squeeze their way through, John, surprisingly, towards the south side of Rosok.
Absolutely. I do have an update on the stats that you requested earlier. It's a 70. It's 69.5 average elims per rondo for this group, which is a distinct drop-off. 10 fewer elims per match.
Yeah, so it's sort of what I thought then. So,
yeah, well done.
Thank you. I mean, I didn't have the stats to back it up, and now I do. But yeah, it definitely does. It massively feels like this lobby really does not fight as much as Group Green did. I think Group Green really, a lot of times, a lot of teams were fighting for position, which is what made it so exciting towards that top side, because there was that aggression to grab strong spots in the circle, which is why we had some teams pulling so far ahead of one another. Troopers taking shots over towards Twisted Minds, I believe.
Waiting for those to pop up, and yeah, Twisted Minds getting a player conked out for now. Hopefully they can pick that one back up. I mean, they're close enough, but it's going to be tricky. Ooh, Regnum Kaya taking a knock. To be fair, Rosok's getting very, very full. And these are shots across the way, so unlikely to be fully flushed here. But against Regnum Kaya, any blow's a blow. And you'll be all too willing to strike. I mean, the team flash position right now, right, on the northern side of this river, pretty powerful. It is going to be ending up north here, so Weibo, they are on 3, but they do have a solid spot. I'm looking at DRX, I'm looking at Virtus Pro pushing in too.
Yeah, I think the DRX quite like their position, but like you say, Virtus Pro strong on that north side, can hold that out for quite a while as well. But again, it's just that thing where you look towards Rozhok. So many teams didn't take shots at one another. Arcred didn't take shots towards it. True Rippers as they made their way in. Regdom Kaya can't really peek because of the sightlines from the flash on the north side. It's so weird. It's very, very weird. And again, this is going to be so difficult to leave now. And we saw having the situation from yesterday on Miramar between the Burmese Ghouls as well as E-Arena, where both teams do struggle to evacuate. Arcred make a quick rotate across. They lose one player for it. Hardboy is that outpost for them, though, at the Wizard Tower. The question is whether the rest of the team can even regroup with him.
That is a big question. Getting that regroup, I mean, it's so important when teams are so packed in like this. Having your players together, you do not want to sever in that scenario. So we'll see if they can navigate that one. That is a bit of a isn't it? And fortunately, there are other teams around to pick up the pieces here, but Regdom Kaya, uncharacteristically, not hitting those shots, but they still do get both of the points. Or just one of them for now.
The shots were technically good because the vehicle exploded. It's very surprising that none of the shots were on target towards the players. So I think it's just a little bit unlucky there for Regdom Kaya, but they get the job done in terms of exploding the vehicle outside of the Wizard Tower in the first place. So now the cross is a little bit more difficult. So they're able to clear a little bit of position there. Boars moving up over towards Nuclear Zone. Havlik jumps out of the hovercraft, providing a lot of space here. Nuclear Zone is just sort of letting it happen.
Okay, yeah, they're just getting a little bit rinsed there. On the high ground, two players now stand. Boars moving in with the hovercraft. An ominous presence. Big threat being dealt. The hops in and out through the monster truck, through the windows. And Arthur's giving them the runaround. A little bit too hard of a score to pull out of that stone. And he's not going to be able to extract the point there for Boars. Exo wants vengeance, but taking down Havlik, I mean, this is really nasty for the Boars. They had a massive advantage in the fight. Losing a player on a single player roll-up is not good news. Now, SnowX with the pressure will be able to enter through the back, and it will be able to find that revenge. But they lose a player, and that's nasty.
Yeah, it's over-aggressive, right? I think it's the best way to describe that. It's over-aggressive. It was unnecessary as well from Havlik. It looks cool if he's able to make it happen, but you risk going down because he was completely isolated from the rest of the team's sidelines, so they couldn't even provide him any help there. Circle moves up again, so the Flash still in a strong spot on this circle. It's quite a big flat zone towards the center of this one. A little bit of higher ground off towards the western side, but I think most teams sort of want to get towards the center of this one and start posting up around the tree line, which is what Influence Rage are doing.
Yeah, it's something you need to be a little bit more mindful of. DRX taking shots at Influence Rage, though, and even if they're able to get into this position, you can see it's far from safe. The smokes are starting to bloom. They need to start to hunker down. Everybody's looking their way for now. Weather out the next 30 seconds for Influence Rage, they might just have a stronghold atop this hill.
And they're expending smokes, though, to do it. Which is the worrying thing for the team, is that you don't have infinite supplies of smoke, though. So you need to survive through to stage 5 and wait for other teams to get forced in. Twisted Minds, they will lose Lord there.
Oh!
But big shots. Big shots indeed with their PP Bison.
Oh,
finally down. Oh my god.
That was devastation in the flying vehicle. The passenger side window peek out as in the air. Beautiful stuff, but pretty does not points make, unfortunately. This time around, will be denied. So we have had two teams now fully eliminated. Another 1 pointer there for Nuclear Zone. Not a great run for them. True Rippers, they've made their way up towards the north. They are playing as 3 and they're running straight at Regdom Kaya. Turns around, Jelly not going to go in fully for that fight. And will get away for now scot-free. if that remains. And yeah, that's not going to work out for you. The run up on towards Influence Rage, seemingly a very bad idea.
ETSH is currently taking a fight with the whole lobby at the moment. And we'll get shut down there by DRX. I do feel bad for Twisted Minds. So sorry for Virtus Pro there, because essentially Nuclear Zone leads the balls directly to that fight that was concluding. So many of those shots came down that way. So not only did they basically scatter their own chance of this game, they almost scattered Virtus Pro's as well. I'd be pretty fuming about that.
Yeah, that is kind of nasty, right? I mean, losing a player for Virtus Pro, having to play on as 3, it's already not the greatest. I mean, they'll take the 2 points, but they'll definitely want more to keep their momentum going into today. Obviously, a massive dearth of points seen from them yesterday. They have just come off a big game, so wanting to do a little bit more here to convert into good times. Stay up in that 11th place, or at least, well, preferably higher, but 11th at the end of their first day seemed a little bit out of reach. So yeah, it's good that they are now in and amongst it. Circle down towards the south, but doesn't keep Reckon Kaya in. It's Virtus Pro on the north. It's Team Flash as well, who regroup.
I mean, Team Flash, I actually quite like their spot on this south side. It's a lot of control they have. For Rectum Kaya, I'm not expecting a massive game out of them this time around. This is a tough push over towards the north side. It's not easy to do. I think as the northbound team inside of Rozhok, their hope was to get points and eliminations from teams that are exiting. I think they have to sweep east, but there's so many teams still out there. It's crazy.
Knocks starting to come in thick and fast. Teams on the south having to move with the pressure. Yunbin is down for DRX, but Soez holds the tree line. Burmese Ghouls having a tough time against it. Not really able to find the confirms as Spraydown's actually coming from Alliance across the way. A third party on this engagement. The nade behind, and that will pick up the flush. Alliance on the hillside being pushed back a little bit. I don't think that's by the Burmese Ghouls. I think Alliance decide we don't want to overinvest because we've got Regnum Kaya bearing down upon us, and they are sweeping east flank. They are moving through, and for now, they haven't taken a knock. They find another of the Alliance players, and it feels like we're always going to see this fight. Regnum Kaya versus Alliance, and more often than not, it's going the same way.
Yeah, they seem to hate this team. And if I was Alliance, I would also hate Regnum Kaya for doing this to them. Silas moves into the building. Good shots to start off with. He can just delay time now. But it does not even necessary. Silas is up to 4 elims once again, proving the haters wrong. Get the quick heal off. But yeah, good sweep. Good sweep. Yeah, you're right. Broke Sentry on this game. Already 7 points. And what did we say? They needed 8 to 9 points now on their games. And they're basically set if they're able to do that over the next 6 matches.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at getting, if you get 50-point days, that's 150 points towards the end of it. That would have been into the top 3 back in Group Green. It's more than likely enough to see you into the top 3 here in Group Red. It's got to feel good for Regnum Kaya, especially coming off of yesterday, coming off of the Gauntlet stage to finally be atop the pile once more. It's kind of what we expect from them, to be honest, at this stage. So it's good to see them back in the limelight. Nades over the top for Influence Rage. Keeping the day going worse and worse for Weibo as time goes on, though.
There's some absolute hero nades coming here through from Influence Rage right now. Directly on top of Sook.
Okay, there you go. I bet you meant nading your own team, but you were still flaming him. Excellent. I love it. Oh, dear. That's a lot of smoke. I can't see what's going on, Blank. Nothing. There may or may not be happening anything inside this building, but it is going to be the shutdown. It looks like, yeah, Virtus Pro having a really bad time around that one. Not ideal. Not ideal. Weibo eliminated as well as Influence Rage pilfer through the boxes.
It's kind of nice there, honestly. Arcred, Hardboy, once again in another game where he is the final one alive on Erangel. See if Influence Rage don't get Weibo box fever, where you just pick through all the loot the entire time, forget you actually have to play the game. Yeah, I think for Regnum Kaya, making this switch out towards the east was pretty damn good. And they didn't really take any damage at all from the Alliance, so they can continue on. I don't think they had to use too much utility. This is the difficult push, though, right? Over towards the Flash. I don't know how they make this push work. So many vehicles on low HP as well.
Do you go for the Flash, or do you sweep around and try and go for DRX? I mean, it's a difficult choice here for Regnum Kaya. It might just be send it to the top and hope for the best. They've already got a good game. They're already over 100 points. You know, they may be able to afford to make some quirky plays here and then. Oh, we'll have to wait a little bit longer. It seems like they just want to hold on the hilltop for now. And to be fair, they don't have to move just yet.
No one really wants to move around this location either. I mean, to the north of, to the northwest at least of the Flash, it is just a flat plateau. It's really disgusting. Not even that weapon. Knox there versus Geek, who are now up to 4 eliminations, but only 2 players, and Influence Rage, they're on the way. Off towards that west side. Diego does go down, though. That's the hard boy.
Yeah, big off-angle player. The man just likes to survive into these later game circles. Influence Rage losing 1 on the north side is actually kind of big news for the teams towards the south, because before this, they were this threat that could extend over this hillside when things start to quiet down, but now they're a little bit less fearsome. But maybe for DRX, that is going to be a big opportunity. In the meantime, Mark Red do get eliminated, and here comes the crash from E-Arena over towards True Rippers. It's up to Jelly now, the last player to stand. Doesn't have a lot of HP to play around with, and will get taken down. E-Arena crash in successfully.
It's a cruel backstab there from Regnum Kaya as well. Over towards True Rippers. They're just going to send it. They need this initial knock, and they don't find it. I think Regnum Kaya's chances here are very slim now as they lose 3. I'm not entirely certain that this was the right play. It also really didn't throw any smokes either. But again, 8 tall elims. Not a bad game.
No, and they still have Silas. He lost out quite a while, and he's still in the zone. He can chill for a bit. He might be able to outlast a couple teams and start racking up placement points to add on to their tally. The more, the merrier. As far as he's concerned, the nades are starting to really punish Influence Rage now as DRX are moving in across this hillside, extending their influence. This looks like it might just be a DRX chicken dinner here if they can keep this hillside under control, because Influence Rage, they've just been removed from it, and everybody else is kind of trapped down south in the compound by Team Flash.
Yeah, I can't. It's still weird. I feel like Regnum Kaya could have swept right. I don't think they had to push the Flash, especially pushing one of the hardest buildings to assault in the entire game and doing it dry with no smokes. It was certainly a choice.
A decision was made, and Influence Rage's decisions have been taken away from them as well. DRX, Geek teaming up to take him down, and up to 7 elims. DRX, they started the day, I think, very close to where Regnum Kaya were. But they've had very different matches so far. They want to try and change that, however. Up to 7 elims. Put a big game on the cards. Flex out to this west side. If GK give you trouble, take him down as fast as you like. Struggle to keep up with the Flash, but still, it's good to add those points to the tally. It's a really reluctant stage right now of players not wanting to move in towards the middle of this circle, Blank. A lot of open ground there, and they fear it.
It's horrible. We're actually moving to the most disgusting area of the map. Again, it's just straight plateau. Nice name from Tops on the high ground. Another airburst towards the back. Quick steal from Silas, though. That's the 9 points found.
Wow. All right. Cheeky. He's nading them. That nade over from the right-hand side, that came from Silas. He's getting naughty. I mean, you took shots so they know he's there now. He's going to help him out somewhat. Take a player, give it a little back. Silas, I mean, a nade is going to go out his way. Okay. We're able to remove him, but 106 points now, and they've still got 2 Miramars to play. Blank. This is great for Regnum Kaya. In terms of their bid for the top spots, Arena just about sneaking their way over the top here, first to step foot on the plateau.
I mean, for Regnum Kaya, they really hope that E-Arena wins this fight. The further E-Arena gets towards the top side, the easier it is to lock in those 2 top spots. Because Flash is chasing at the moment.
Absolutely. And they are on for a bit of a run here, though. Look at the open ground. I mean, you said it, right? Disgusting open ground. Only the trees, really, to play around. And Team Flash have to move. They have to move north. DRX are in this next circle, just on their dip. I don't think Team Flash make it. I don't think that they're going to be able to get out to the open here. They've got 6 smokes, 5 nades, so maybe they could do something with that, but they've already just spent, I think, at least 3 of them over there.
Yeah, it's tough as well because you move north on this. The Flash can't really play the low ground which sits on the south side. There's a little ridge to play around there, but because it's pushing you north, like DRX with that little lip there, they have so much control of the circle. This absolutely should be a DRX game.
Ooh, there's a spray down. That is unfortunate. There's an opener. It should have been their game, but now the little rollout and actually even more damage pouring on in. DRX need to hold strong. Only the 1 knock sent their way so far, and they do hold off the forward push coming through from Team Flash successfully, leaving them at a 4v2v2. They do want the res, but might not have the time. Okay, they do. As the nades don't really exist now in the back pockets for anybody to send their way. Team Flash too far away for the moment.
We saw Kaixi Sonnerza just jump above that. Kevin's going to go nice and low here. Playing limbo on the circle. It's the one spot they don't have vision on, so you'd hope they'd check it soon.
As it's down, so it is just Kevin now standing. Might be waiting, crawling back, stepping up. So the nade thinks now as good as any time, but will be shut down. Nice and vigilant there. And now DRX could fully establish along this line. And Team Flash out as 2. All that needs to happen is these trades. For DRX to be able to take this one home, it would be a monumental chicken dinner here for them. The nade over towards the cover. I mean, there's only so many places to choose from. And when there's a vehicle out in the open, well, you got to assume that there's a player behind it, and they're nading out the position nicely. Still doing a lot of damage. And Tops can't do anything about it either. He's being backed off by Kaixi.
I think it's slightly early to throw those nades, personally. This is also pretty crazy from DRX.
Wow. What a shutdown. The stylish rollout there. That was pretty crazy, you're right. I mean, if both of them had turned their attention to that vehicle quicker, they might have been able to take both of those players down, but DRX